Hello and welcome to another video. You guys, I've been thinking really hard, and you know what? We haven't really been in my sketchbook that much lately. I know technically I sketched those little heads last week, but we haven't really done any full bodies, and it's been a hot minute since I drew like an AU paired with like a little comic. So today we're drawing a little AU paired with a little comic. So I've been thinking about vampires. I saw that what we do in the shadows was trending on Tumblr, so I was flipping through that tag just a little bit, scrolling through that tag for a little bit, just because I like the show, but I did not watch season 5 and season 6. The final season is currently airing, and I'm like, I'm not fucking caught up at all. And I'm like, do I want to watch it? To see, the same thing happened to me when I was watching Supernatural. I caught up to like season 13, and then like the last 2 seasons while they were airing, I was just like, I'm not gonna watch it. I was just keeping up with it on Tumblr a little bit, so I'm keeping up with it a little bit on Tumblr just to see the same thing I did for Supernatural. I was like, just to see if the ship becomes canon. I'm not gonna talk about that too much though. So yeah, I've been in a vampire mood lately, you guys, and as you know, my college guys, for a while, they were gonna be vampires. Initially, it was supposed to be something contemporary where it just took place in like real life and they would like fall in love or whatever, but eventually I was like, that's kind of boring, so I was like, maybe I'll make them vampires, and then they like have to like help their friend be not a vampire, and then along the way they fall in love or whatever. But then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And so they went back to being contemporary. And they were like supposed to have like 5 books or whatever. But yeah, I was like, I only ever drew Duke and Cotswell as vampire and vampire hunter. And so I was like, well, I guess I could do the other guys too. And I've been thinking for a while. I was like, I have not drawn Come Out and Cricket forever. Technically, I drew them in my last sketchbook. And not even the last sketchbook that you guys saw me do a flip through of. The sketchbook that was in between that sketchbook and this sketchbook. I drew them in that one, but like not even together. They were with separate people. Like they did not interact at all. And I was like, what the fuck? So I really wanted to draw Come Out and Cricket because, like I said, you guys, for a while, they were my favorite. And they are probably still my favorite. I think they have a very fun dynamic. But yeah, I haven't drawn them in a hot second. So we're drawing Cricket and Come Out in a vampire hunter AU. Or I guess a vampire AU in general. Come Out is a vampire, and then Cricket is a vampire hunter. For a while, I was toying around with the idea that the other guys, like Cricket would be a vampire, and then Come Out would be the vampire hunter. But I don't like that as much. I don't know why. I think because if Cricket was a vampire, he'd be very cocky, because Cricket is sort of kind of prone to being a cocky person. Like, he has not really have a lot of stuff to back up that sort of type of claim, but I like to think that if he got the power, he would be like just so fucking just the worst person about it. So I didn't want to make him a vampire because shame. No, you can't have the power if you can't handle it. So yeah, Come Out is a vampire. I feel like if Come Out became a vampire, and this kind of goes along with the comic, I feel like he'd be like ready to like die. I hope that's not gonna get me flagged, but like he'd be like, I don't like being a vampire. If you want to kill me, you can go ahead. And then so for Cricket is actually like descended from like, you know, like the Van Helsing's, like he's like a very like a prestigious like vampire hunting family or whatever, and so he should be able to kill Come Out, but he's like so incompetent that he can't even kill a willing vampire. And so that's what the AU is kind of about, and I was like, that's very fun. And so yeah, like I said, you guys, it's been a while since I've drawn them, and I don't know if they're 100% on model. I think Cricket is not too bad, but I don't think Come Out really looks like himself, which is a little bit sad. I do like Come Out a lot. I think partially what is adding to that is that I didn't draw him in his regular outfit. He wears like this high-necked puffer vest usually, and then Cricket usually wears like a hoodie and overalls. I did not draw them in those outfits today because, first of all, I couldn't draw Come Out in that outfit because it, like I said, has a high neck, and I was like, I was not gonna show off his vampire bite. So it's gonna be like, I feel like if you're drawing like a vampire OC, you kind of have to like have the vampire bite. Obviously, you don't have to. Nobody has to do anything, right? But I don't know. I just like it. I like the look of a vampire having a visible vampire bite for when they were turned. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to draw him in a different outfit. So I have drawn him in this outfit before. It's just like a plaid and like jeans or whatever, and like an undershirt. It's been a while since I drew in this outfit. But it's also been a while since I drew him in his puffer vest. So, yeah, I just gave him a different outfit. And then for Cricket, I was like, should I just draw him in his hoodie and overalls? I was like, no, I guess I shouldn't, because he's like a vampire hunter. And he's like a vampire hunter from a vampire hunter family. So he should wear proper vampire hunter gear. So he's got like a vest on. It's not like super detailed because this is just a sketch in my sketchbook, you guys. I didn't want to do too much with it. So he's got like a vest, and he's got like cargo pants, and he's got like a strap of like stakes around his chest area. And he also has like a waistband thing, and also gloves, fingerless gloves though. And I'm like, I'm not sure how well this outfit is for vampire hunting. I feel like you should probably wear full gloves But I was like, I don't know, we'll just do whatever. I did not put a lot of thought into it, you guys. Like I said, I just like came up with these outfits on the fly. I was like, I don't know. I was spending a lot of time thinking when I was doing this because I was like trying to put lines down, but I was like a little bit hesitant. You guys can't really see that sort of thing in the video because I do cut out when my hand is not moving or when my hand is not on the page, just because I think that would be boring to watch. But I do spend a lot of time thinking in between strokes. Like if you see my hand go back, there could be like a minute or two where I'm just like thinking about stuff. And I mean, I don't think my thinking makes the art process I don't think my thinking makes like the drawing better, but I don't think it's important to think while you draw. So I was just spending time thinking about what I wanted to put down, especially when I did a little comic, because initially, that's why you see me coloring these right now, is that I was just going to do like the full bodies for you guys. And I was like, I don't want to do a little comic for it initially. That's why I'm coloring it in right now. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, the video would have been like an okay amount of time. It only took me 15 minutes to do the full bodies completely, like from the beginning of the sketch to the color. It only took 15 minutes. So I was like, I can just make it a real-time video, just draw it that way. But I was like, I don't know. I feel like whenever I do like these full bodies, I feel like they need to be paired with like a little comic. Just for like my own sanity. I was always planning on drawing a little comic. It was just whether or not I was going to show you guys a little comic that I wrote in for it. I did end up putting it in here for you guys, so I don't know if you guys like to see me draw little comics, but I was having trouble thinking about what I wanted them to say in the little comic because I actually haven't written anything for this vampire AU at all. Usually when I draw like a little AU for you guys, well, not even for you guys, but like in my sketchbook, it's because I wrote an AU for the guys in like a Word document, and I just like type it out. Like I get like ideas for AUs and I'm like, that would be fun. And so I write like a couple of pages of like notes or like dialogue or like scenarios, and then I go off of that for my drawings of the college guys and stuff. But I did not have anything for the vampire AU at all, which is so funny because I was like thinking about making the story an actual vampire story, and I didn't have anything. No scenes, no nothing. I had like the basic premise, like who I wanted to be a vampire and like what I wanted, like some of the things, like who was going to interact, where they were going to go, like some areas and stuff like that. A little bit of dialogue, but like nothing. Like usually I'll have like 5 to 10 pages of like story planned out or like interactions, just because I have a lot of ideas. Usually when I have story ideas, I'm like, oh, write this. Like if I have a story idea, I'm like pumping stuff out for it, and then I get sick of it after like a week and I stop writing for it, which is I never finish anything. But usually I have like at least 5 pages of stuff if I'm like really passionate about it, which I try not to have like just 1 page, because I'm like, I like to go back and reread stuff. I'm just like, I like to read, but I have so much trouble like forcing myself to read books. But I can force myself to read my writing every night as like a bedtime story. And so some of my stories have like 40 pages, and so I just sit there and read that, and I'm like, that was nice. I wish there was more. And it's like, you have to write more of it, buddy. You can't. It's never gonna be more if you don't write it. And I'm just like, okay, I'll write something, and then I write like a sentence, and I'm like over it because I'm like not in the passion mindset of it, unfortunately. And so yeah, I didn't have any, like zero, nothing, nada for this vampire AU. And so I've been trying to write it for a little bit over a couple days since I am in like a vampire mood, but I was just like, I don't know, I can't figure out any ideas for it. I don't know why. It's so weird for me. I just like, maybe I don't like vampires. You know what? I don't dislike vampires, but they've never been my favorite. I mean, I like certain vampire ideas and stuff. Like, no, I guess maybe I don't. I'm like, what do I like about vampires? And the answer is, I don't really like vampires at all. I mean, I feel like there could be some fun scenarios with vampires. Like, I like What We Do in the Shadows, but I don't like it because they're vampires. I like it because they get into funny shenanigans. So I think really what I just like is funny shenanigans. And I do have like a vampire story that I was planning on writing, but it's not really about being vampires. It's about more of the funny shenanigans that can come about from being vampires. So maybe I don't like vampires at all. Yeah, I don't think I like vampires at all, you guys. I'm trying to think if there are like any vampire tropes that I like. And honestly, I think it's just like some that I don't like. Like, I don't like when someone is a vampire and then they meet someone and fall in love, and then they're like, I'm gonna give up my vampire powers and become a human. I'm like, that's fucking lame. But that's just any story that has somebody giving up their superpowers. I hate that. They're like, being human is the greatest gift. I'm like, boo! I'm human every day. I want to see vampires doing stuff, or I want to see people being superheroes. I don't want to see some guy go back to being a human. He's like, I used to wield ungodly amounts of power, but I gave it up so I could make coffee at 6 in the fucking morning and go to a job. Like, what do you mean, bro? No, I hate that. I hate that shit, you guys. I'm trying to think. I kind of like werewolves. But honestly, no, I don't. Because I feel like there's like a lot of sort of kind of antiquated gender roles like put into like heterosexual like vampire stories, and even not heterosexual, sorry, not vampire, werewolf stories. Like there's like a lot of weird gender norms for werewolves, so I'm like, I don't know if I like werewolves either. I don't know, actually, I don't know. I'm thinking, because I do like supernatural shows and stuff, but I think that's just because I like powers, like superpowers. I'd be like, wow, it'd be cool to turn into a wolf and just like kill people. That would be cool. I mean, I don't think it'd be cool to kill people, but I think it'd be cool to be very strong and stuff like that. So like Teen Wolf, I used to watch Teen Wolf. I liked Teen Wolf, and then it started to piss me off. But I'm not going to get into Teen Wolf, you guys. We could be here all day if I talked about Teen Wolf or Supernatural or other stuff. Yeah, I don't really like anything with, like I said, I like What We Do in the Shadows, but that's because it's more about the jokes than the being of vampires. And honestly, they kill people really badly in that show. I'm like, I feel really bad because I'm like, oh, that was just a normal guy. He's just like fucking murdered. And so I kind of feel bad for the people for the humans in that story. It's not about the humans, it's about the vampires, but still, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I feel kind of bad for the people in that one. I don't know if there's any other vampire media that I liked. I read Twilight as a kid when I don't know if I read it when it was super popular, but I think I did. And I remember I was like, I don't really care for the romance, but I did like that the vampires all had cool superpowers. Like I said, you guys, I don't really like vampires, but I like cool superpowers. So I was like, wow, everybody gets a cool vampire superpower. That's pretty neat. And I was like, why didn't she write a book about every vampire having cool vampire superpowers? She's like really stuck on the love story. And I was like, I don't really care for the love story. Which is like, not to say that I don't like love stories. I do. I already told you guys that the college guys are pretty much all love stories. But yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. I read all 4 of them though. I did not read any of the spin-offs though. I'm like, I don't care. I already know about the superpowers. So maybe that's what I have to do. I mean, I don't know if I believe in like 100% of like vampires having like super ghost powers. I mean, like super specific powers. But I don't know. I just like superpowers. So I'm like, just incorporate superpowers into anything. Like, I've been watching the show Ghosts, the American version of Ghosts. I've watched the UK version of Ghosts. I thought it was good. But I've been watching the American version, and every ghost has like a ghost power. And I was like, that's so fun. Just incorporate superpowers into everything. People are like, I don't know if every ghost should have a ghost superpower. And I'm like, you guys don't like superpowers? I love superpowers. Give everybody a superpower. I think that's so neat. I just like superpowers, you guys. And you'd be like, if you like superpowers so much, don't you have like any superhero OCs or stories? And the answer is yes, I do. I just haven't written it for you guys yet, or shown anything about it for you guys. I have some, like I have this one girl, and her sort of superhero journey is like coming to accept herself or whatever. And anyway, I'm not gonna get into it too much just because it's like long and convoluted. I don't actually remember. She doesn't even have a name, honestly, because it was just in like the planning stages, and it was just so I could like start writing superpowers. But I don't think I'm very creative in coming up with superpowers. I think I just like to watch superpowers. I don't know. I'll get it, you guys. That's just something that I like. So yeah, I think I've gotten a little bit off topic with this video, but we're coming up on the end of it now. Sorry if my rambling about superpowers and vampires and werewolves got a little bit weird and off topic there, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me. I will go ahead and see you the next one. Bye.